Hello again, and welcome to Chapter 20 of my Balsa USA SPAD 13 build. In this chapter, we look at mold preparation, pouring of the mold, and also installation of the lead in the nose. Unfortunately, a difficult decision has to be made at the end of this video. Here are a couple of pictures of the mold preparation, and there's a video following that will give you a better idea of how this worked out.
So here is my casting sand that was actually made up probably 7 or 8, even 8 years ago. And basically it's just a mixture of play sand you can buy at the local hardware store and basically unscented cat litter, which is bentonite. And it's a 10% bentonite to obviously 90% sand and a little bit of water. Mix it up to the consistency that'll make your casting sand. So I made it up, basically screened it off, made it up this morning. And basically this is the third try to get it to work. I didn't spend a lot of time on the plug, obviously. It should be highly sanded, molded, made smooth, and all kinds of stuff. I tried to use talcum powder to smooth it off. First couple of ones didn't work so well, but this one came out really well. So it's basically the size I want. It's got the ridge in there for the keeper bar. And now all I got to do is go out, set up the oven, and start melting my lead to get ready to pour it. So hopefully we'll have some good news shortly. Welcome to my foundry on this beautiful wintry day. I was just in the process of melting the lead and pouring the lead for my nose weight. And as you can see, this is a very simple setup. Not very elaborate, but it doesn't need to be for what I was doing. So basically a camp stove hookup to put my basically juice can on there with the 5 pieces of lead that I had, and melted them down with the assistance of the blowtorch. It didn't take very long. And once I had them, it was just a matter of lifting it up with the vice grips you can see there, pouring it into the mold, and now I'm just waiting for it to harden. So again, it's a nice day to be doing this. Let's just take a quick look outside. Oh yeah, the lake is partially open right there, but this is typical winter in southwestern Nova Scotia. Welcome back into my shop where it is a little bit warmer than it was out in the garage. And actually my casting of the lead came out quite successful. This is what I ended up with. And you can see the groove in here for the bracket to attach it to the cowling. So I was very pleased with that. It does fit in exactly where it's supposed to go, as you can see here. So I'm very happy with that. But one thing I discovered is 3.5 pounds is a lot of weight. And really, what I have to hold it is a screw here, and this little tab that hooks right there. I wasn't really happy with that. I don't think it's going to hold the weight with the vibration and the different G's and things are going to be pulled on that. So I have to come up with a way to attach it a little bit more securely. So I think what I'm going to do is, like you can see where I've actually added some drawings right here, some sketches. I'm going to put tabs in here. I'll inset them, wrote the wood part out so they sit in flush, bring them out just far enough that I can bring a screw. It'll come through this area right in here, right here. So you'll see them from the front, but they won't be really bad. The other option is going through here, and I don't really want to do that. So that's what I'm looking at doing right now. So just getting set up to route these out and see how that actually works out. So once that's done, I'll give you a follow-up on that. Time to check out exactly how close we are with this. So first things first, let's see if the bar is going to fit in here. Oh, look at that. Perfect. So I'll drill a couple holes, put a couple bolts through there. These will be countersunk, so it's flush as well. And that'll hold that. Now, I wanted 3.5 pounds. It was actually 3 pounds 9 ounces. Now let's see exactly what we got here. So watch the scale, and look at that. 3 pounds 9 ounces. Awesome. I have completed the modifications to the cowling, and I thought I'd just take a moment to show you what has been accomplished up until this point. And so far, I'm reasonably pleased with the results. It was a fair amount of work, but I think it's going to work out fine. So let's have a look at that. So here you can see the cowling, backside of the cowling, and the weight is now attached to the aluminum bracket, the aluminum bar, and the bar is now anchored to the cowling. I used the brass screw and insert so you could actually put bolts into it. And I think when it comes time for the final application, I'm toying with the idea of actually epoxying the whole thing in solidly. Of course, then if that's the case, I can't remove it or can't make any modifications. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. I want to make sure that the weight is proper and everything is kosher before I make it permanent, so to speak. Now the two top bars right here, the two diagonal ones, and this one here, these are the ones that are going to allow me to secure the cowl to the model itself. As I pointed out before, this little tiny bracket right here was all that was going to hold that part of it. Well, down at the bottom there was two bolts, one here and one here, and that's all I had, so it's a lot of weight. So I've decided to bolt through those brackets, and if you look here, I'm just in the process of gluing these two tabs, this one here and the one there, and those are going to be drilled out. I got to put a little spacer yet onto it to bring it flush with the front, and then I'm going to use anchor nuts like this here, and I think that'll work out fine. Bolts through the front of it. The only downside to it was, turning this over, is this is what you're going to see. Unfortunately, in my screening now, I have two holes. Again, the lead is going to be painted black, so they won't be quite as obvious, but I couldn't come up with any other way to do it other than destroying the outside of the cowling. I certainly didn't want to do that. So I think this will work out. When we get back together again, we'll take some pictures and see what you think. The lead is now securely attached to the cowling, and the cowling has been reattached to the fuselage. The wings have been reattached to the fuselage. Everything is in there for all up flying, except for fuel. And I'll just show you a quick picture of what the lead looks like. So there's what it's going to be looking like. Now obviously I haven't painted it yet, so it's going to be painted black or flat black. So it won't be quite as apparent, but you can see the cylinders of the engine are just below that, so it's going to have a good flow of air over it. Now, one thing I wasn't real happy about is I mentioned earlier about some scales. They have arrived, and I've done my weights. So if you look at this one, 11.4 roughly pounds, 10.68 pounds, and the rear one is 4.05 pounds. Seems a little bit on the heavy side. It actually adds up to about 26.2 pounds. This is on an airplane that should be weighing between 20 and 22 pounds. So 4 pounds plus overweight. Not very happy. Well, it's been a rather depressing outcome to the weight and balance. I knew the airplane was a little bit on the heavy side, but I didn't expect it to be, 4 to 6 pounds over the target weights. So I've had to come to a difficult decision. I think what I'm going to do is shelve the project for the time being and basically strip the fabric off and start over again. The problems that I had at the very beginning with the primer that I used, the primer lifting, all those problems compounded because you couldn't ever sand it all off or remove it all off. And so I just kept adding paint and again sanding, but still not effectively. So, and the quest for having an airplane that's going to be fun to fly as opposed to one that's going to be a beast, decided to go that route. So I, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes these things happen, and time to move on. The good news is I do have another project that I'm working on, and I'll follow up with that and keep some updates as well. But for the time being, the SPAD 13 is dead in the water. Sorry, guys. We'll talk soon. Bye now.